Going into his third year in the league, your third year in the league, what's kind of the biggest change that you've noticed in him as he's coming in?
I mean, I think a lot of things. Obviously, like the talent's always been there, and he's always had a knack for the game and been a great runner and done a lot of things to, create explosive plays, all that, all the way back to college and last year. I think he's just getting, more and more like football savvy and understanding defenses and protections. I think that's just growing a lot right now, and I think that's one thing I think he's taken a huge step in from last year to this year is all that, and I think he's really sharp with protections, and that was one thing that I know he wanted to work on, and I think he's done a great job. So that's one thing I've been impressed with, and just making his game, really well-rounded, and I think he's doing a great job of that. And obviously, the more he can do, the more he's on the field, the more he helps us. So that's what we all want, and him as well. So it's been good to see him grow in all those areas.
Can I ask a number one pick, overall pick question real quick, for Bryce Young?
Sure.
What would a
For Bryce?
successful season for the number one overall pick coming into the league look like?
Oh, man. Might be asking the wrong guy. I hope, hopefully it goes a little better for him. No, I think it's hard to say. It's a hard question. Every team's different. Obviously, someone told me this before, and there's some truth to it, no matter the situation. But it's a little different actually with Carolina because I guess they traded up for it. But typically, whoever has the number one pick, you're going somewhere that struggled the year before. So the expectations, are going to be what they are, and it's going to be some tough challenges, but different. Actually, a little bit different in Carolina. So I know they got a really good team. It seems like they have a great coaching staff. I think just managing those expectations, because what are expectations anyways? It doesn't really matter what other people think you should do or you're going to do. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as the guys in the locker room, trust and have faith in you, and you keep getting better every day. I think that's what success looks like, and obviously winning as many games as possible. But it's hard to say, how many that's going to be, and you don't know the set of obstacles that are going to be in front of you, and you just have to go with that mindset every day of getting better and not letting bad plays, bad games get in your head, and just continuing to turn the page over, learn from the good, learn from the bad, and continue growing. I think that's the biggest thing, and the most success you can have is by doing that. But yeah, I don't know if you're asking the best candidate but no, I think for sure it's going to be a learning experience, definitely.
Is part of it just kind of getting through it? You know what I mean? Just get through the season. In a way.
I mean, yeah, that's never the mindset of getting through it. I think you wanna thrive, you wanna find success, win-wise, and obviously you want to play well and put your team in a situation to win. But there is part of it that you just have to learn by experience. There's some things that you're going to have to make mistakes on to learn, no matter who you are. Maybe there's fewer than other guys with Bryce. Who knows what that'll be. But there's going to be things that you're just going to have to experience it and learn it. And obviously the NFL in and of itself is just different, and the schedule and the season. It's a really long season, and obviously he's used to playing at a good school where they play a lot of games, so that'll help him. But it's just all different, and I think I know Bryce a little bit. He seems great. I think he's gonna do just fine. But yeah, it's just it's different for everybody, but definitely a learning experience.
Going from year 1 to year 3, Doug just came in here and said there's so much confidence in the locker room. Do you get a sense that you guys are at a different level confidence-wise, and why? Is it because of the way you finished last season, because of the carryover, the number of starters back, all of those things maybe?
I think it's a lot of things. I think it's obviously, you have confidence from a little bit from past success, but I also think preparation and knowing our system and feeling more comfortable in what we're doing, just speaking from an offensive standpoint, and I'm sure defensively the same way. I mean, guys look great, but I'm obviously not in those meeting rooms, but I would say they feel the same. Just being in the system, you just know more, you can react faster, you can play faster, you communicate better with the guys around you. So I think that gives you confidence too. Obviously, the way we finished the year, that gives us confidence, but it's a new season, and that doesn't carry over. Everyone starts in the same spot at the beginning of the year, so you can't think that it's going to be like that. You got to go out and earn it, and I think we also have confidence from the training camp that we've had, the OTAs, how we've worked, all that plays into it. But now we get to go play for real and see what we got, see what type of team we are, and prove it on the field.
Christian, to follow up on that, just how different is this team heading into week 1 this year than it was last year, maybe?
It's a lot different, like the confidence piece, and just there's going to be things that come up along the season. There's going to be some hiccups. It's never going to go perfect, but I think just the confidence we have in our guys and our system and our staff, and just overall the relationships and the kind of the storms that we weathered last year gives us confidence too that, we know everything's not going to go perfect this year. It's never going to, no matter how good your team is. So understanding that and also realizing we've been through some of that adversity before and we know how to handle it. And when it comes, I think we'll be able to bounce back even quicker than we were able to last year. So I think everyone has confidence in that.
Christian mentioned on Monday, the issue came up about stats, and he immediately downplayed, anything with regarding stats, that the only thing that mattered was getting better every day and winning. As a quarterback who's got a lot of really quality weapons who are capable of putting up big numbers, how sort of liberating is it for you that you seem to have a core of weapons around you that aren't caught up in their individual glory?
That's big. I think it takes a lot of pressure off me. That's one less thing to worry about, because that's a real thing. Guys and certain teams and positions that they want. Not that they don't care about winning, but they also really care about getting their touches, getting the ball, getting their stats, and of course we all want to have good stats and we want to play well. Like that'd be ideal. You do that and win the game. But when we're talking about guys, like, you should always, if you win the game, doesn't really matter what your stat line is. Even if you have one catch, no catches, if I threw two picks and we win, obviously I'm not going to be happy with my performance, but I'm going to celebrate with the team. I'm going to be happy we won the game. That's what this league's about. It's hard to win. So when you find ways to win, that's the cool thing about our team is we enjoy it. We understand that it's hard to win, and we have that perspective of it's not really about personal stats, individual stats. It's about the team. And but with that, guys take pride in their performance. So I think there's a fine line. You're not happy with mediocrity. Like, you want to play well and you want to put your best stuff out there, but there's a fine line for sure.
You said earlier that it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks about or what the outside perceptions are or what have you. So is there not any kind of feeling in the locker room? Obviously the Jaguars are getting a lot of good, positive attention here in the preseason. Would you almost rather be under the radar instead of having people acknowledging, hey, the Jags, this is a Super Bowl contending team?
I don't really care, to be honest. I think it's more dangerous to have people praising you than to not have any expectations. But with the group we have, it doesn't worry me at all. I mean, I think we know how to work, come to work every day with the same mindset. But that's the biggest thing, that's why everyone always asks about expectations and how you deal with them. Like, you don't really deal with them, you just don't listen to them. Like, what does it matter what, this guy said over here? He's not in our locker room, he's not a part of our team. And even if he said something good, we go out and lose Sunday, everyone's going to be like, oh, I told you they weren't going to be any good. So it doesn't really matter, what people say or, so we just have to keep our ship tight. And I think that's the biggest thing that coach has done a good job of is making sure we do that and managing all those expectations, because they're not real. It's not a real thing. We have to go play every Sunday and put our best foot forward, and you can't do that if you're listening to what other people are saying.
Hey, Trevor, what's the challenge of facing a defense week one? It's the same coordinator, maybe some new players out there for the Colts.
Yeah, there's definitely some challenges, facing these teams in the first 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season when there's not much tape out there. And I'd say it's more challenging when it's a new coordinator and everything's changed. That's definitely more challenging. And but same here with this team. You got a lot of new players, and there's a little bit of preseason film, but you never know if that's what they're going to do. Are they going to do more? Do they show something they're not going to do? Like, who knows? And you got to go play the game. But I think obviously with this coordinator, Coach Bradley, he's done a great job in all the places he's been. He does what he does. He has his system, and of course he's going to have, I'm sure, some wrinkles and some new stuff being a division opponent, especially when we played them twice last year. But they're a really disciplined group. They do what they do. They do it well. That's kind of where he makes his money, is by doing that. And the guys are really well coached. They're in the right spot. So even if it's one of those things, like, even if you know what they're doing, you still got to go beat them, and vice versa. If they know what we're doing, they still have to cover us. They still have to do all that. So I think that's how the game's played too. There's, sometimes not as much trickery as you might think. Obviously, you're going to have some plans and some secrets, some stuff up your sleeve. But at the end of the day, you coach your guys to do something and to, play assignment football, and they do a really good job of that. So we got to go beat them.
Y'all talked a lot about getting off to fast starts. How important is that for Sunday, for the first chance to go and show you can do that?
Yeah, it's big. It's big every week. Obviously, we'd love to go out there and score first drive. That's the plan. So that's what we're going to try to do. That's what we've worked on that a lot this off season. I mean, no matter what series it is, what drive it is, just being efficient. And I think we've gotten a lot better in a lot of areas, and we get a chance to go prove it Sunday. And this one counts. And excited. I know all the guys are pumped to get out there.
Can that be a mindset thing, or is that just an execution early in the game kind of deal?
It's both. I think it's a mindset. It's execution. Obviously, you got to execute. You got to keep you got to keep it in manageable situations. You don't want to get in second and third and long early. I think that's the biggest thing. You don't want penalties. Just all that. Like play clean, especially to start the game, get in a rhythm, and then we can settle in and go after them. So I think that's the key, and so we'll see.
Doug specifically noted a couple of miscues from last time out there and said, you guys lost 9 of 10 in Indy, which I didn't even realize, and really seemed to have a sour taste in his mouth from that last trip. What do you remember from that loss, and perhaps how you guys can change things this time around?
Yeah, no, I know I haven't won there. So in the last 2 years, we didn't win either of those games. So definitely bad taste in my mouth going there, and we want to right the ship there. That's for sure. Just didn't execute. I know that game was one of a handful from last year where coulda, shoulda, woulda. Coulda won the game, shoulda won the game, had opportunities and didn't, and they ended up winning. So we all remember that, and I think it's good to not forget that. But also Coach sends us the message of we also are, we got to move on. It's a new year, but I just want y'all to remember kind of the history and what's been there, and haven't played well there. So I think that's something to, add a little motivation for us. But at the end of the day, it is a new year and a new season, and can't carry too much of that over. But definitely we have the right mindset going in this week.
If Shaquille Leonard's healthy and ready to go, what kind of player is he? What kind of problem can he be?
He's a great player. Obviously didn't play against him last year, but my rookie year we did, and just a guy that you always have to know where he's at. He's got a knack for, one, for getting takeaways, punching the ball out, or in coverage, reading quarterback's eyes, making plays on the ball, and just really athletic, can move sideline to sideline, diagnoses plays really, really quickly. He's a great player, great instinct. So, if he ends up playing, obviously it's a guy you know who's out there. You always know where he's at, but we got to be prepared for whoever it is. But he's a great player.
Trevor, as a professional, you play a good team every week. It doesn't matter, and you play division games. Is there such a thing as a rivalry in professional football?
I think so. I mean, you have your division rivals, and you got teams that. I mean, honestly though, I feel like every division game feels that way, and it's almost like the division games are worth double, because we all know how important it is to win your division, and when you can start with one, it's a big opportunity, to either get ahead or fall behind a little bit in your division. So we understand how big this game is, and like I said, the history of us playing the Colts there and what we need to do, and we understand all that, and it is a big game, and just excited to get out there and play one. I know we've been chomping at the bit, and the team's ready. So, but yeah, I mean, all those games feel like rivals.
So in division, I mean, you look across the line of scrimmage, you get to know these guys over the years.
Oh yeah, you play them. Yep.
Yeah.
Twice a year, you get to know these guys. You talk to them, see them after games, all that stuff, and you get familiar year to year. So this is my 5th time playing the Colts, and so I've played some of these guys. This will be the 5th time. So you get to know how they play, things they like to do. Obviously, I have a different coordinator the last 2 years than they did my rookie year, or this year and last year than they did my rookie year. But you remember players, and you keep things saved, and you go back on notes and all that stuff, and you remember all that. Thanks, guys.